Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, or Kakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh Bashem Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election Yahweh Bashem Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. Now this article right here, man, it says Kazakhstan shows U.S. influence is on the wane. Now before we go into this article, which I'm only going to grab certain points within this article, just to to get into the lesson, but I want to go into that word wane first, right? Quick, because again, this is prophecy right before our face. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, it says, "Behold, it's like Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand," meaning it was in, as it says in Daniel the 4th chapter, the 17th verse, that it was given into the hands of the basest of men, right? So Edom, is in rulership, man. He's in power right now. But what's happening is he's starting to decline, man. People are understanding, through prophecy, through the men of the Lord coming out here and revealing this information. Luke 8 and 17, Luke 12 and 2, revealing this information. Also, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, consuming him through the spirit of his mouth, which is the mouthpiece of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, is the prophets, man. Coming out here, exposing him. Elder Apostle Gabar had a series, expose him, man. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're exposing this damn devil, man. So now his power and his, his influence that he had over the people is, as we see in this article, is waning, man. It says Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, which is going into that wine, that wine of her fornication, which is the philosophy that's being pushed, by America through NATO and the EU, right? It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Why? Because these nations are waking up to the wickedness of Esau, Edom, and these Americans, man, because America is basically used as, that poster child for everything that's being pushed in the earth, man, which we know it ultimately starts with these elites, man. They're behind scenes, man. People, the average person, up until, a couple years ago, the average person didn't know about the elites, but now people are starting to come to the knowledge of who they are, man. The Oppenheimers, man, the Gettys, the DuPonts, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and so on and so forth. The Gates, the Bezos, and stuff like that, man. All these people are the elite banker families, and they're the ones that are spreading this wickedness, man. And they have been for centuries, man. It tells you in matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. It tells you in Sirach, the 10th chapter and the 2nd verse. It says, "As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein." So if the ruler, the judge, is ultimately wicked, guess what? Everybody under him is going to be wicked, right? And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing these elites who are the wicked, according to the scriptures, man. Everybody under them is wicked, man. And their main place of business, which is America, is where they pour most of their wickedness out. This is basically where the wicked, started, man. And as far as in recent times, this is the place of wickedness, man, the place of without order, and every other place is trying to be like America, but now these nations are waking up to who's in control, man, who is ruling, man. These nations are ultimately saying, hey, Esau is the wicked, man. Esau is the one that has been pouring forth lies and so on and so forth. Now the nations are pissed off at what has been revealed, what is being revealed unto them. Right? Let's go back. So let's go to this article real quick, and we're gonna read just a couple points. I don't want to read the whole thing, man. We're gonna drop down, because basically this whole article goes into how Russia is ultimately, Kazakhstan's ultimately asking for Russian aid, and Russia's coming to the aid of Kazakhstan, and China's, backing Russia and helping Kazakhstan, and so on and so forth. This is basically what it's going into. Now it's on RT. Obviously, you can see that, and you can go ahead and go look it up and read the whole thing, but I'm just going to grab a couple points, and I'm going to go with this paragraph at the top right here. It says, it has been suggested that foreign involvement added another layer of complication to this conflict. Tokayev, which is the new president in Kazakhstan, it says accused the radicals of being funded and trained from abroad. Although he did not name the U.S. specifically, China has more openly blamed Washington for inciting another color revolution, while Putin has compared the events to the Western-backed main coup in Ukraine in 2014. So basically, both sides are saying, yes, America is the one that's involved. America is pushing and has incited this riot, man, and which is, you look at American history, America has gone through, and in the number one, as far as my knowledge, the number one example that I can push out is Libya, man, with Omar Gaddafi, man, and so many other countries throughout history America has done this to, but the one that can come to my knowledge, will be Libya, man, where America ultimately sent in, their actors and their military to act as civilians and to rile up the people against their leaders and cause an uprising, cause people to fight against the government. And this is exactly what we saw in Kazakhstan, man. The people fighting against the government, and they were literally lifting up arms, which is ultimately a fulfillment of 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. People rising up against each other with swords in their hands, man. We saw that happen in Kazakhstan, man. But since Russia, ultimately came in there, everything's being, died down. But still, nonetheless, America is being accused of basically inciting this rioting. Which again, America is known for these things, man. America has done these things all through our history, and this would just be another case of, America doing this, which we know it comes all the way, from up top, man. The elites, man. They have, this new world order that they're trying to establish. So of course they will want to sit here and cause an uprising to get a certain leader out of power, so that America could come in and put forth their own, democracy and leadership, which will ultimately fulfill the orders and the needs of the elites. But what happened was, instead of America ultimately coming in there, Russia came in there, which we know of Russia and America, they're Edomites, man. They're all on the same page, They're all on the same page, but yet and still they go against each other, right? Which is, part of the Most High's plan, to have Russia and America go against each other. There to be tension between Russia and America, and America to push all different types of buttons coming up against Iran, North Korea, and so on and so forth, all these nations, and for Russia to be a guard unto these nations, so that way, Russia can ultimately say, we're going to push that red button and fire off those missiles, man, So all of it goes back to the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father is the one that's in control, man. Sirach, the 18th chapter, man. I love that chapter, man. The first 3 verses, man. The 3rd verse basically is the point. It's talking about how the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai governeth the world with the palm of his hand. All things obey his will. So, it goes right back to the Heavenly Father. But nonetheless, the elites are trying to establish the new world order, and it looked like they kind of took an L right now, man. But ultimately, again, we know that it plays out perfectly for the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah and the prophecy that He has set in place, right? So it looked like America is taking an L right here, man. And we're gonna keep going down. I want to read all of where it says the consequences, man. And then go into this continuing uncertainty, because this whole thing right here basically goes into how America's power is being, it's like America's power is decreasing, right? It says the consequences. With the crisis quickly spiraling out of control, President Tokayev requested support from the Russian-led CSTO military bloc, of which Kazakhstan is a member. Moscow agreed to the request, and the crisis subsequently began stabilizing immediately. The psychological effect was immediate, as any internal split and uncertainties within the security agencies, military and police, started to fade. Moscow and Beijing have both given their full support to Tokayev, the legitimate president of Kazakhstan. However, while the crisis appears to be coming to an end, the economic and nationalist problems remain. One of the big winners from this development is obviously President Tokayev. The long transition of power has now come to an end, as Tokayev survived an uprising against his government and is now dismantling the tandem by asserting control over the government and getting rid of Nazarbayev's people, which is the former president. Nazarbayev is the former president, and they had a period, which explains in the article, they had a period of overlapping power to basically where they were competing against against each other, man. The former president versus the current president, and that's is what they're saying started the uprising, man. But we all know, again, it goes right back to America being that bully, man. The elite trying to establish a new world order and using America as a bully to establish it, right? It says Russia also appears to come out of this crisis strengthened. Stability in Kazakhstan is imperative for Moscow, and the multilateral CSTO has asserted itself as a credible security provider in the region, being Russia being that guardian to the nations, right? It says the credibility of the bloc suffered to some extent from its passive role in the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, although this success has restored the relevance of the military alliance. The Russia-China strategic partnership has also been strengthened from this event. Instead of causing divisions that opened up the region to external influence, Moscow and Beijing aligned their positions in the spirit of the greater Eurasian partnership and appeared to come out stronger than from the event. Which you go back to, the Cold War. Russia and China were, they weren't the greatest allies, but they were really good allies compared to America and Russia and America and China. America was their number one enemy. They had that in common. And now they're coming closer together, man. Which for America is a kind of oh shit moment, man. Right? It says, furthermore, Beijing looks to Moscow as an indispensable partner to restore order in Central Asia, which ensures greater equality in the partnership between the two Eurasian giants. However, it can be expected that Russia and the CSTO will pull out as soon as possible, since a prolonged presence could be counterproductive, and the government has said they will begin to withdraw within the next 2 days. Now hear this out, man. America is ultimately hurt by what happened, right? It says Kazakh nationalists appear to have been a significant part of the radicals, and as approximately a quarter of Kazakhstan's population consists of ethnic Russians, a prolonged presence of the Russian military could contribute to rather than soothe ethnic tensions. Some in the Western media appear to be stoking ethnic tensions by speculating about a possible Russian annexation of Kazakh territory, while U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken similarly attempts to fuel tensions by suggesting the Russian military will not leave. I think one lesson in recent history is that once Russians are in your house, it's sometimes very difficult to get them to leave. So basically, America's talking shit, man. America's over here trying to, trying to cause another uprising, cause these people to, look at Russia bad, but that all Russia has to do is leave and prove America wrong, man. And now it makes America look stupid, man. Because fucking Americans, man. They're about the dumbest people in the fucking world, man. talking all that mad shit. You know, their pride is so high, but yet they have nothing to back up. You know, Americans are weak, man. You know, you look at Vladimir Putin, what he said about Americans, you know, and the presidents the past, you know, few years. Russia be, man, Vladimir Putin be talking mad shit, man. As well as these other nations as well, they be talking mad shit about America, man. And America has the audacity to talk shit? No, man, America's weak. America literally is getting weaker as the days go by, man. America's power and influence over the world is literally dwindling as we sit here and speak on this lesson right now, man. You know, who is America to be talking like this, man? You know? That's more like a comment for Americans, man. Once they come in and establish their, you know, their embassy and this, that, and the third, it's almost impossible to get them to leave, man. Because America has this, you know, this God complex, you know, this Napoleon complex, you know, within himself, that he truly believes that he's in control of everything, man. You know, he truly believes that he should be, you know, the top leader in anything, man. You know, when in reality, this nigga, you know, these niggas, these Americans, hey, they're not real leaders, man. You know, they're fucking bullies, which make everybody to believe that they're leaders, when in reality they're not, man. You know, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna throw a little fucking incense on the sensor right now, man. So give me 1 sec. But yeah, man, America is such a trash place, man. You know. But yeah, I'll keep reading. It said it is very possible that Kazakhstan's multi-vector foreign policy will shift in favor of Russia and China, while the U.S. and EU and Turkey will probably lose influence, man. Meaning what? Wane, man. Dwindle, you know, weaken. This is what's happening. This is what we're seeing. It says the U.S. is obviously not happy with how the conflict ended. Washington is grasping desperately. It says Washington is grasping desperately for a strategic narrative by proclaiming to speak on behalf of peaceful protesters. Wow, hold on. I want to grab that word desperate, man. It's like it's like desperate. Deprived of hope, right? It says desperate of persons, despairing, hopeless, given up, despaired of, right? To lose all hope, desperately determined, right? And this is America, man. You know, they're desperate, man. Oh, right here. It says showing, wow, next two. It says showing extreme courage, especially of actions courageously undertaken in desperation as a last resort, right? And it says the next one, showing extreme urgency or intensity, especially because of great need or desire. So America's basically, you know, it's their last ditch effort. It's to talk shit, man. Their last ditch effort is to sit there and try to paint a narrative of Russia that ain't necessarily true, man. Because America can't rely on, you know, these tactics no more. You know why? Because everybody's starting to understand, you know, what America is about, man. And everybody's revealing, saying, hey, this motherfucker's a devil, man. He's causing problems, you know. He's causing all these problems. He's sitting there sticking his nose into situations that have nothing to do with him and then blaming it on everybody else, you know. He's a desperate need, And again, his last ditch effort is to sit there and talk shit. Because America is not that golden cup, or is waning from being that golden cup in the Lord's hand. He's losing all that power. He's losing his ability to sit there and deceive the nations, man. America is extremely desperate. Salachya. America is extremely desperate. We're gonna go back and finish that out, and then we'll get back to the precepts, man. I only got a couple more precepts, or a couple precepts, and then we'll end it out. But it says, I'll read it for the top. It says the U.S. is obviously not happy with how the conflict ended. Washington is grasping desperately for a strategic narrative by proclaiming to speak on behalf of peaceful protesters, questioning whether the invitation of the CSTO was legitimate, and accusing Russia of attempting to re-exert a sphere of influence over the countries that previously were part of the Soviet Union. Right? It says American politicians had not expected the involvement of the CSTO, and Blinken has asked for clarifications over why Kazakhstan felt compelled to call in this organization that Russia dominates. It is no secret that both the U.S. and the EU avoid diplomatic ties and cooperation with the CSTO and other institutions that include Russia in the effort to deprive these institutions of legitimacy. However, the unipolar era is long gone, and the ability of the West to monopolize on security has come to an end. The Kazakh precedent will likely have wider implications for the post-Soviet space as the CSTO reasserts itself. Right, man. So America's losing, man. America's power is going down, and America is not able to continue to deceive and have that bully effect over the nations anymore, man. So let's grab this precept. It says Jeremiah 51:8. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. And she'll never be healed, man. America's done for, man. America's economy, America's power, it's all done for, man. It says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Right, man. Forsake her, let us go everyone to his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. Right, man. America is completely destroyed. America is at its last end. What does the scripture say? The destruction has come to a perpetual end. Right, hold on. Perpetual end. Let's grab that, man. Right here, Psalms 9:6. It says, O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities, their memorial is perished with them. Right, man. So the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is done allowing Esau Edom to continue to get its stick its nose into situations and areas which don't pertain to this damn devil, man, and allowing people to ultimately realize who this damn devil is and what he has done within the earth, man. And what's going to happen is these nations are ultimately going to rise up against America and destroy this place, man. Let's go ahead and grab that. This is Jeremiah 50 in verse 9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which is America, an assembly of great nations from the north country. Now this is talking about Russia ultimately gathering up these nations, man, to fight up against America. We can get that in Revelations, I think it's the 21st chapter, the 8th verse. 20th chapter, the 8th verse is in Revelation 20:8. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, right? The number of whom is as the sands of the sea, right? So ultimately, this war is going to be between these major powers, man. We're already starting to see that tension between America and Russia build up. Right? Well, Russia, as prophesied in the scriptures, is gathering these nations, man, preparing these nations, getting them ready, and saying, hey, America's our number one enemy, and we're gonna have to fight against this damn devil, man. And again, this is what it's talking about, man. Jeremiah 59, I'll start from the top again. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, for we know America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty excrement. None shall return in vain." Right, man. And this place is going to be destroyed, man. We're talking about completely destroyed. There's not going to be anything left here in America. This is what's prophesied to happen to America, aka Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures, man. Because of that wickedness, because of the violence and deception that America has had, right along with the NATO and the EU has had on the rest of the world, man. These nations are ultimately waking up to that, through the Spirit of the Lord, and they're tired of it, man. Verse 10, it says, "And Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai." It says, "Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer of grass, and bellow as bulls, your mother shall be sore confounded." And this mother is going into, the United Kingdom, right? The United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom is ultimately the one that bore America, man. Because the 13 colonies, came and started, with the UK, sending its people over here, right? The 13 colonies, and then what happened? It branched off, from, the UK and became its own thing, which they say their independence came in 1776, the 4th of July, But that's who it's talking about. That mother is going into the UK, right? The Great Britain. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert," right? "Because of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Shem El Shai, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goes by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues," man. And that plague that's coming to America is going into Zechariah. Matter of fact, let's grab that. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12, which is talking about those ICBM nuclear missiles. It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Shem El Shai shall smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." And does an actual arrow do that, man? No. It's talking about ICBM nuclear missiles, because in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, I think it's the 13th verse, talks about how their arrows are going to be shot from one end of the world to the next, man, or from one mountain to the next mountain, man, and can an actual arrow be shot across the world? Can an actual arrow be shot, from one country to the next? No, I'm not. It can't, man. It's like if somebody asked me if I was a Daniel, yeah, man. So this is the arrows. The arrows are talking about those ICBM nuclear missiles, which are coming to America, man. And America's going to fire off some of its rockets, and it might hit a couple other places, man. But majority of those ICBM nuclear missiles are going to hit here in America, man. Scriptures talk about 200,000, man, which is 200 million nuclear warheads that are going to hit down in America, man. It's going to be a gruesome, a very bloody, destruction that's coming to America, man. And again, we're already starting to see America's power, starting to dwindle, and soon America's going to be completely destroyed, man. This is just the beginning of what is coming, a greater destruction is coming to America, man, and it's right around the corner, So that's all I really got to. Spirit, Lord will, was edifying, Lord will, straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Al Shah, Bashim, Kakadash. Double R's to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim out here pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election Yahweh Shem Al Shah, Lord, will lift upon any houses. I want to say, Kwam Yashua, and above all, Shalom.